meeting to order. And do we have any declarations of conflict of interest? Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda.
Councillor Starr, if I can just do the roll call.
Yes, if you can do
Thank
that
you.
before we do that, yes.
Thank you and good afternoon. Just remind members that this meeting is being live streamed. In order to ensure that this meeting remains accessible to the public, the meeting will be recessed for 10 minutes if the live stream is interrupted or fails. Staff will work to get the live stream up and running as soon as possible, and will keep the committee advised. We shall now commence the meeting with a roll call. Councillor Demerla.
Good afternoon, present.
Thank you. Councillor Dillon. He's not in at the moment. Councillor Fortini. Not at the moment. Chair Anika. No. Councillor Innes.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Mahoney.
Good afternoon, present.
Thank you. Councillor Raz.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Sinclair. It's not at the moment. Councillor Starr.
Present.
Okay, I'll pass it over to you, Councillor Starr. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First item, number 3, is the approval of the agenda. Any additions? Moved by Councillor Rass. All those in favor? That's been approved. Passed. We have no delegations today. And number 5, we do have a report on the Townhouse waste collection plan once again. So what I'll do is I'll ask Norm and staff. It is a report. There wasn't a formal presentation, but we will run through it because I know that we've seen a lot of the same data before. So between Norm and maybe Keely, you can bring us up to date once more.
Sure, I can start if you want. And this is a report, and just as a reminder, Council approved a number of options for collection at townhouses, 4 of them to be precise, and they approved the consultation plan. But staff was asked to report back to the committee with the consultation material, so this report does that. Council also approved the timing of the implementation of the new collection to coincide with the next collection contract. But staff was asked to look into the possibility of negotiating prices to be able to implement it or roll it out a little bit sooner. And this report also reports back on what we found there. I'm going to turn it over to Erwin Pasquale, who's my manager of waste planning, to provide just a few of the details on the report. Erwin.
Thanks, Norm, for the introduction and the recap. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. So good afternoon, members of committee. As Norm said, I'd like to give a short recap or a short overview of the report that's before you today. It addresses 2 items that committee and council asked staff to report back on. The first one being some details on the consultation plan for the townhouse waste collection options. And the second item were the impacts for implementing the townhouse waste collection options ahead of the new collection contract. So I'll start with the consultation plan. But before I do so, I'd just like to note that this engagement plan and all our engagement has prioritized engagement with councillors. We really want you guys, we really want the councillors to be informed about what's going on in your wards before the residents do. And to do this, we're going to communicate with you proactively before we engage with any residents, any property managers, or boards of directors. We're going to proactively reach out to you through emails to let you know what's happening. So we want the lines of communication between you and staff to be open and fluid, and you can reach out to us at any time. So I just wanted to highlight that. But with respect to the consultation plan, what we've done is we've broken the plan down into 3 phases, and we've done this purposely. And why we're doing this is because each phase focuses in on a specific audience and a specific topic. Because what we want to do is we want to communicate to the right people at the right time with the information they need at that time. So we've been very careful in planning this consultation and its phases out. So the first phase is focusing in on the boards of directors and property managers of the various townhouse complexes. What we want to do is we want to reach out to them, let them know about this project, inform them of the options that are before them. And most importantly, what we want to do is really understand what the decision-making processes are for their complexes according to their organizing documents. Because as council has made it clear, the decision for these waste collection options lies with the complexes, not with the region appeal staff. So we want to emphasize that throughout this engagement plan. So again, we're going to reach out to the boards and property managers and understand how they make decisions in their complexes. Because as we've seen talking to various complexes in the past, this decision-making process can vary. In some cases, the boards of directors make the decisions for the residents on their behalf. In other cases, residents get to vote on decisions and the majority rules. And we've seen that this majority can be defined as 51%, it can be defined as 75%. So as you can imagine, there are a number of different decision-making processes in place. And it's really important for us as staff to understand what those are before we go any further. And what we're hoping to do is, for this phase, we'd like to start it next month and hopefully finish it off before the end of the year, so that come the new year, we can then commence phase 2, which is focused in on the residents. And what we want to do there is we want to give the residents all the information that they need about the waste collection options that are available to them. We want to let them know about the pluses and minuses of each option. Any information that they need and any support they need, we're going to tackle in phase 2. And primarily the way we're going to do this is by establishing an online information hub that residents can access easily. We know that not all residents can access this online hub. So what we're also going to do is make sure that staff are available through the phone to answer any questions and provide any information that residents need. And we'll provide this information in whatever format is the most appropriate for them. So once we get through phase 1 and phase 2, once the boards, property managers, and residents get together and make the decision on what waste collection option they'd like to implement in their complex, then we move on to phase 3 if necessary. And where phase 3 comes in is if a complex has selected a waste collection option that involves a cart. In phase 3, what we do is we'd help them make that selection of the cart and then give them all the implementation details for cart delivery that they need. So that summarizes the consultation plan. The details of the consultation plan are included as an appendix in the report. Moving on to the second item that's outstanding for staff, that's the impacts of implementing these waste collection options ahead of the new collection contracts. So what we did was we contacted our collection contractors to ask them how much it would cost to implement these waste collection options ahead of a new collection contract. We also reached out to our current cart contractor to ask them how much it would cost to supply smaller green carts as provided in some of the options. And what they've told us, they've come back and some of the costs, the costs have been quite significant. As outlined in the report, the cost premium for collection is approximately $3 million on an annual basis. And the cost premium for the smaller green carts is about $2 million, and that's a one-time cost. So these costs are quite significant, and staff is still recommending that the waste collection options not commence until the commencement of the new collection contracts. The only outstanding issue with the new collection contracts is the timing of them. As you've heard in other reports, the region is transitioning its Blue Box program to producers, and that happens in 2024. The Regional Council has expressed an interest in continuing recycling collection, and we're currently in discussions with our service providers to do so. But those discussions and negotiations are still underway, and so the timing of the new collection contract still has to be determined. nevertheless, we're continuing that work, and once that has been finalized, we'll have more details to share. But for now, that concludes my summary of the report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Erwin. Having gone through the report a couple of times here, it's probably the most complete that we've had so far, and appreciate all the work that you folks have done. Okay, I'm not sure what's. I see your hand up, Councillor Rass. I'm not. It's not showing up on the. Yeah, okay. Thank you. But what happened is there's a new system, I think, because anybody that's here, there's a mark beside you. So I don't know if it's a hand or if it's a mark. Anyway, Councillor Rass.
Thank you, Councillor Starr. And I had to activate my participants list to put my hand up, so a few seconds delay. Thank you very much for the presentation, Erwin. I really like the completeness of this, and hindsight being 2020, I think I would have liked to have done this level of detail in the first attempt at rolling this out. I guess one of the questions is there's quite a difference in the size of the bins. And where their choices are going to be. Will there be central locations where residents could take a look at the size of the bins prior to choosing?
Through the chair to you, Councillor Rass, thank you for the question. Yes, as part of our engagement plan, staff is intending to attend annual general meetings where requested. In phase one, we're also going to be doing site visits, but staff is prepared to attend any any meetings that we requested to do so. And of course, we absolutely would provide, we would come to show the bins so that residents could see firsthand, as we've done in the past. They can see kind of firsthand what the bins look like, including, eventually the smaller bins, and they can kind of touch them and measure them and whatever they need to do to feel comfortable with their decision. Absolutely.
Okay. Excellent. Yes, looking at them online, they're only about this big, so it just makes more sense if you can see them in person. When it comes to the AGMs, I'm assuming as part of this plan, you said that the councillors' offices will be in the loop at all times. Are we going to get invitations if we can attend to those AGMs as well?
Through the chair to you, Councillor House, again, thank you. Yes, absolutely. I mean, once we were informed of the AGMs, as I've said kind of at the start of my presentation or my discussion, we would definitely engage you, let you guys know what we've been asked to do, and engage you and secure invitations for you as well. Absolutely.
Okay, in the terms of the time frame, the next phase of the time frame is January to March, where we're going to be actively engaging.
That is correct. Once we get through the first phase, which is November, December, hopefully we can get through that, and then phase two would follow shortly thereafter. And right now it's planned early January of 2022. That is correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again. Very, very detailed report, and I sincerely appreciate that because of all the challenges that we've had.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see any other hands up.
Councillor Demurla is on the list. Councillor Starr.
Okay. Okay, just popped up now. Okay, yeah, you're right, Councillor Rass. It's taking a few seconds to activate. Councillor Demurla.
You're muted, Councillor Demurla.
Sorry, thank you for the report. I just wanted to mention that I think it's a terrific idea to reach out to the townhouses through the AGM, but I do also know that some townhouses in my ward haven't had AGMs in a while for many reasons, COVID, and also sometimes it's just, it's unfortunate, but condo governance isn't always that strong. So I just wanted to know if staff had given any thought to that as to how you engage some of those townhouse complexes where they may not be a strong board, or it's just, governance is here and there, and it's pretty all over the map in our condominiums.
Through the chair, thank you for that question, Councillor Demurla. Absolutely. in phase one, when we're reaching out to the various property managers and boards of directors, as I said, that's a lot of that will be information gathering, and part of that information, although I didn't kind of refer to it, part of that information will be understanding how best to communicate this information to the residents. Again, if it's not through an AGM, maybe it's through another meeting that'll be set up. And absolutely, staff is more than willing to attend any meeting that they're requested to do so. So we're flexible, and as I had said in my previous response, we'll keep the councillors engaged. So if it's another meeting outside of an AGM, again, we'll let you know before that happens in your ward, and make sure you're there as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Don't see any other hands. I'll ask a question. Erwin, do you have any idea or a listing of how many meetings you anticipate over that period, for the orientation?
Yes, thanks, Councillor Starr. Although I don't have a list or an approximate number of those meetings at this point, again, reaching out over the next couple of months to those property managers and boards of directors will give us a better understanding of how many meetings will be required. And once we procure that information, once that number is set, I'd be more than happy to share that with you.
Okay. Yeah, I know you had a number last time, but that's fine. I think that'd be helpful. Okay, I'm going to take a look at the list once again. Don't see anything. Anybody else have any questions or comments? A very complete report. Appreciate that, and I agree with Councillor Rass. This is probably something we should have had 1 or 2 reports ago. It certainly helps us explain where we are and where we're going. And I like the idea where the key considerations you're showing all the downside too. So, okay, who would like to move this? Right in the center, I see Councillor Rass. Your hand's moving up. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And back to the agenda. We don't have any communications. Do we have any other business from any of the other members on the committee? I don't see it. Councillor Rass?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I raise this that city of Mississauga because it really is a city of Mississauga issue. But when it comes to cart storage, I'm just wondering, maybe at the next waste committee meeting, if we can have a brief update from staff on generally how cart storage is going, if we receive complaints or the region receives complaints, and how across the region, and how we feel it's being managed. I asked for a city report from Mississauga bylaw staff with respect to the cart storage issues, and I'm just trying to get a sense of if it's a particular area in my ward that I'm dealing with, or if it's a more pervasive neighbors complaining about other neighbors and the cart storage, and again, single family homes, not the townhouse complexes.
Okay, good question. I think we've all seen that right across the board. I've seen it in my own ward where it's the 60 and 80-foot lots. Somebody's complaining about their next door neighbor, yet you could hide them almost anywhere. But that's something that's probably something we should look at. Okay, any other new business? I don't see any hands up. Okay, we'll take that as direction. And in camera, we don't have any other items. Next meeting is on Thursday, November 18th. And that's in the morning, 9:30. And that'll be back to normal Eastern Standard Time, I think. We'll be off daylight saving time. And call for adjournment. Councillor Demurla, all those in favor? Have a great Thanksgiving weekend, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.